Liss. The name of the program is The Way to Go. I invite you to join me each week at this time as we explore places to go and things to do. Today it's welcome back in a different way to Fleetwood Stage, the wonderful professional company that presents marvelous, marvelous plays. And we're going to learn all about it because my guest today is Liss Arlt, who is the artistic director. And Lou, welcome back.
Thanks, Norman.
And,
nice to be back.
And there's news because Fleetwood Stage has moved.
That's right, we have. That's our biggest news. We've moved into the gracious confines of Wildcliff Center for the Arts down on the waterfront in New Rochelle.
Great place.
It's a match made in heaven. When I first moved to Westchester 7 or 8 years ago, I heard about Wildcliff, and I heard, oh, it's small, oh, it's out of the way. I heard a few, and I kind of dismissed it. Well, when we were at the Wartburg for 2 years and our building became no longer available to us, we knew we were going to have to go somewhere. And the New Rochelle Council on the Arts, who had come to a few shows at the Wartburg, said, we'd love to invite you to consider coming over to New Rochelle. We have a few places we'd like to show you. And so we looked at a few. And when I saw Wildcliff, I just said, this is a match made in heaven, a fully professional company, finally moving out of adapted spaces and into a real gem of a real theater.
Adaptive spaces. You did so well in the space that you had at Wartburg.
Thanks.
It's always amazed me how everything you did came to life in the limited space that you have.
Part of the fun of doing that is to adapt a non-theater space and turn it into a theater space. Yes, it was fun. It was fun taking a dining hall and making a theater space out of it. I can
imagine now with the facilities that Wildcliff has, how much more you can do.
Suddenly you don't have to be real estate managers anymore and architects, and you can go back to being a play producer again. The space is phenomenal. There is not only a beautifully well-appointed 101-seat theater with real genuine plush velour seats taken out of an old Schubert theater on a rake with a control booth behind. There is a real stage with a lighting grid. There are dressing rooms. There's a box office. There are gracious lobby spaces.
Do you remember how to work on those?
I'm trying, yes. I'm trying, yes. It's coming back to me.
This is more than a year in a new place. There are other things that happen. For example, your brochure came in the mail. I think it's a wonderful brochure, particularly I like the picture on the
Well, thank
cover.
you. Thank you. We scraped together a few local actors and took their picture, yeah.
Well, I particularly like this because I remember last year when you played this role, and I've said to many others, and I've even said it to you, that although I've known you for some time, when you came on the stage, it was like I didn't know you because you became that character. It was a wonderful show, of course.
Thanks. That's probably the highest compliment you can give me, and I take it. Thank you very much.
So you're not only responsible for all the wonderful things that are happening at this theater, but you're kind of a quadruple threat man. You're a writer, you're a director, you're an actor, you're a producer.
Still trying to figure out which one I want to be and get one of them right.
Yeah, you're going to find out one that you do well. You're currently directing.
I direct for Another World, daytime drama on NBC. Yeah, I've just started that. I've been lucky enough to get into a training program out there. I've been writing for soaps for about 10 or 12 years, and I was able to get into a director training program, and they've been wonderful about supporting me. And yes, I'm now going on contract. I'll direct one a week for them starting in October.
Is that a tough grind, the soaps?
Sure. Yeah, you learn the parameters of any job. The parameters of this job are that every day, 5 days a week, you have to put out 42 minutes of dramatic time, and you have a 12 to 15-hour workday to do it in. And it happens. So it gets done.
Are they done over and over again as they do in shooting films, for example?
The schedule for the day basically is what's called a dry rehearsal at the top of the day. We start at 7 o'clock in the morning working in a plain room with actors and prop furniture. At 8:30 we go on in front of the camera like we are now, and they start shooting the scenes. At 1 o'clock we break for lunch, and we hope we've gotten half the show in the can. We come back at 2 o'clock and we tape the rest of the show until we're done. And sometimes that's 7 or 8 o'clock, and sometimes it's 10 or 11.
How far ahead are they?
The tape is usually 10 days to 2 weeks ahead of air. And, of course, the scripts are written 3 or 4 or 5 weeks ahead of that. So there are various chronologies going on at any given day on a soap. You know, the long story arc, the script that's being written, where the producer is, where the actors are, the tape show, the air show. So you sort of have to keep all of those in your mind. But it's another game. You learn how to do it.
But another game. In the meantime,
yes.
You're planning the season at Fleetwood Stage,
right.
which is so ambitious, and I do want to get into some of the details of it. The brochure, which we talked about, is just magnificent.
We're very proud of this brochure.
Your copy says, "We won't entertain you," which is kind of a shocker, and then opens up and says, "We will surprise you, challenge you, charm you, enthrall you. We'll make you laugh, cry, think, and feel, but we won't," in quotes, "entertain you."
The inception of that came from our managing director, Gene Minko, and I immediately embraced it, or perhaps not as immediately as he would have liked, but fairly immediately. I said, yes, what a wonderful idea. The notion of live theater versus television and movies, which are very passive entertainments where you sit back and you're not involved, was what we were trying to capture here. The notion of when you're at the theater, there are live people as far away from you as I am from you now. Anything can happen. Anything can go wrong. Anything can go right, and every night is different. It's more than just entertainment. It's involvement. It's engagement, and hopefully it's a much more complete experience than simply watching
with this
TV.
Concept. How do you plan? We'll go into the specifics of what this year's programs will be, what the
right.
shows will be. How do you plan? Is it based upon this concept of?
How do we plan what shows to do?
Yeah, surprise, challenge, charm, enthrall, laugh, cry, think, feel. I
think it works in the other direction. I think we pick the plays because those are the plays that Gene and I know we want to do, and Nelson Sheely, who also works with me, one of my early co-founders. Those are plays that we want to do. We're not interested in producing, without being denigrating anybody, simple surface comedies and lightweight material. We're interested in producing stuff that challenges an audience. We're interested in producing plays which make you think and which make you feel.
And laugh.
And laugh, too. Hopefully, when you saw How the Other Half Loves, you went out laughing and mostly, maybe a little bit thinking. But the notion of creating a theater company, a small theater company like this one, includes the assumption that we're not going to be producing plays where chandeliers drop and elephants and spaceships rise out of the floor. We can't do that, and so we won't, and we don't think that's a terrible loss. Other people do that much better than we can anyway. Mm-hmm. What we're doing is we're looking for plays that involve people that have a certain outlook on life, and to me, that the outlook on life, somewhere in that play, there needs to be something that is affirming, that is positive. Even in the midst of the muck and mire and disease of Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, there is passion for life, there is survival, there is redemption. And those values, to me, are what make a play worth doing many times in the place of Cat, over and over again.
You mentioned, of course, your first presentation, which was Cat on a Hot Tin Roof.
Right.
And that runs September and into October.
Right, September 25th through October 12th.
And what comes after that?
After that, we're going to do a Tom Stoppard play, which I was involved with on Broadway back in the 80s.
I'm ready to see that. Anything he does.
Stoppard is a great writer. He's, I think, one of our most facile, in the best sense of the word, and illuminating contemporary playwrights.
What's the play?
The Real Thing.
Uh-huh.
I think Tom got kidded a lot for some of his early work, for being so facile and for not really touching the heart. And somebody said, why don't you just write the real thing? Write about real people and real situations. And so he did. And this was his answer to that, to those jibes. I was fortunate enough to be the understudy for Jeremy Irons and Simon Jones when this play was on Broadway. And I went on a few times. And it's stuck with me. And it's a wonderful, those people that know it, I'm sure will agree.
Are you doing it this
wonderful
year?
play. I'm going to do Henry this time.
You are?
Yeah. Yes. It's a play that I've always wanted to revisit. It's about the search for the real McCoy in your life and all the obstacles that get in the way and how you get around them. and figure out.
What follows that?
After that, we're going to take a break over the holidays, and I'll get back to that in a second. The Passport offer, which are the 4 plays that are part of our what we call our Passport membership or our subscription plan, we're going to do Mass Appeal, Bill C. Davis's comedy drama, a conflict between a parish priest and one of his young deacons who challenges his ways, his passivity. Again, to me, that play is also about get up out of your chair and get involved in life. What does it mean to be involved in life? What is it? The old priest is challenged not in his faith, but in his life. His whole life has become regurgitation of the same
Milo
old stuff.
O'Shea did it originally.
Milo did it on Broadway with Eric Roberts, and then Eric left and Michael. O'Keefe replaced him on Broadway originally.
Wasn't it just recently revived off Broadway?
Was it? Yes. I think it was. Yes, you're right. Yes.
And Milo O'Shea had appeared on this program.
Did he?
Yeah, wonderful man. Yeah,
he's terrific.
And then
we'll finish off the Passport membership season with another Alan Ayckbourn play, Intimate Exchanges. 2 actors play 10 roles. And if you know Ayckbourn, and if your viewers know Ayckbourn, and you know the plays that we've done in the past of Ayckbourn's, you know that the man is clever, to say the least.
Yes.
And he loves to turn your notions of reality and what it means to go to the theater inside out and give you a new perspective on them. And at the same time, the middle class, the English middle class, is skewered, I think, quite effectively for their hypocrisies and their ambitions or lack thereof. And it's always funny.
And your ambitions are just listing these 4 plays are just great. What's the reaction you had? I was very impressed. I saw a full-page ad in the New York Times. I saw this wonderful brochure, beautifully done. What kind of a reaction have you had thus far?
I would say a very good, a very strong, very positive reaction to it. We decided at the end of last year, a number of things came together in confluence at the same time, and I'm a great believer in synchronicity. And at the end of the 4th season, we were losing one space and finding another. We had doubled our membership on an annual basis, and we're looking to do the same thing again. We needed to make a leap. We needed to say either we will stay the size that we are and perhaps shrivel, or we will take a big leap and say we're strong, we belong here, and we will grow as a result. So we chose the latter. We took the full-page ad in the Times, which incidentally we should mention that the New York Times offers this to not-for-profits at a reduced rate on a standby basis. But we did the full-color coated stock brochure with a big poster inside. We mailed it to 18,000 people off a mailing list. We moved into the new space. It all seems to be paying off quite wonderfully. Last year we had 340 Passport members. So far, this year we have 675. So far, with a 75% renewal rate. So 75 of 100 people from last year have already said they want to come back, and 200% of new people have already joined us. So
I think you have proved, and some of the other performing arts centers have proved that the people in Westchester do want good theater.
It's always dangerous to generalize about anything, but there are 500,000 people that live within 15 or 20 minutes of where we're located. It seems to me that everybody I've met that there's a tremendous appetite for good quality entertainment, the cultural arts in general. And this county, as it recovers from the economic decline of 8 or 10 years ago, perhaps more than other counties, is having a hard time finding what they consider disposable income to get back into the arts. And we take it as our central mission that as Jane Alexander said to the NEA, every child, every person in this country, man, woman, and child, should find the song in his or her heart. And we take that to heart. So our mission is to provide quality, affordable, accessible, year-round professional entertainment. I used the E word, professional cultural arts through the theater. And the response has been terrific.
You did mention that you'd get back to something that's happening during the holiday season.
Yes. Last year we finished our second play just before Christmas, and it taught us a very important lesson, and that is that the holidays are very important to people, and Of course they are. So rather than fight that, we're going to go with it. We decided, as separate from the passport offer, we would present a holiday show, and the one we've chosen is The Gift of the Magi. It's an adaptation of the original O. Henry story about the husband and wife who each give each other gifts, which they give of themselves because they have no money, and it turns out that the gift that one gives sort of negates the gift of the other, and vice versa. But the lesson of the story is, of course, that the love between the two carries the day. It's a musical adaptation. It's a 1-hour show, and so this is particularly suitable for kids to bring their parents to, and vice versa.
I do want to get on to the school programs you're doing, but first I do want to remind our viewers that I'm talking today with Louis Arlt of Fleetwood Stage. A wonderful company, great plays, and moving to Wildcliff this year. Let's talk about your school program.
Okay.
It's quite extensive, isn't it?
Well, I have a mouthful of things that I'm trying to chew. We bit off a lot, but I think they're all worthwhile, and they come out of the central mission of the company, and that is to serve all of the population and all of our age groups. We started, the very first thing that Fleetwood Stage did 4 years ago was to take a tour with the Fleetwood Stagecoach, which is our children's theater touring company, to elementary schools with the production of Androcles and the Lion. Then we remounted it for a second tour, and then a year ago, this coming November, we took out a tour of Romeo and Juliet in a 55-minute adaptation. These are adult professional actors performing for elementary kids in the elementary school, in the cafeteria or the auditorium or wherever they want us to go. We come in with a truck and a set and costumes, do the play, the 1-hour, one-period play, and then, of course, stay around afterwards for questions and let the actors take off their costumes and come out and talk to the kids.
You're doing Romeo and Juliet?
We are in the process now of researching. We're doing a little market research to find out if Romeo and Juliet is a show that schools that we've been to before want back, or if they would like to see something else. Market research for children's theater is a very time-consuming and complicated process. It's nobody's fault. It's simply because PTA presidents change yearly. Principals and vice principals are busy. Cultural arts representatives in schools are rare. And budgets vary widely from schools who can only have us in if we are offer them a subsidy, to other schools who have huge cultural arts programs and plan a year or two in advance. So we have a young woman named Miriam Ciro who lives in New Rochelle, who has a couple of kids in the New Rochelle school system, who's on the phone constantly making contacts. Our attempt is to start the tour up again, either with Romeo and Juliet or perhaps a contemporary show in February or March, and take it out to the schools. Last time we did 24 different elementary schools, and we hope to do the same thing again.
In addition to providing theater to the children, there's another very important thing that you do, and that is introducing children to the theater, because they're the audiences of tomorrow. As we all know, that the aging audiences are a problem, and young people should know and appreciate the theater as I do and as you do. And
there's self-interest as well as an altruistic mission in terms of bringing kids into the theater. Obviously, we want an audience tomorrow, but also we think it's part of our mission that they don't get left out. And when school budgets get cut, the first thing that goes is the cultural arts. So in addition to Stagecoach Tour, we offer Theater Entree, which is a program whereby high school students can come to see our main stage productions for free. As long as they organize a group through their teacher or their drama club or whatever, and there is room available in the theater on the night that they choose, we offer them to come as our guests.
This would be a good time, Lou, to give the telephone number that people should call to get further information.
You're right,
to get on the mailing list, to find out about the school program, to come as school groups to the theater. Let's give that phone number right now.
Anybody who wants information on Fleetwood Stage can call 914-654-8533. That's 914-654-8533. We answer the telephone 24 hours a day. Sometimes it's by a person, and sometimes it's by a very friendly machine who will give you options of where you can leave messages and what sort of services you can have response to.
And we also will put that number up in the closing credits, so if anybody didn't go scurrying around for a pen or pencil, they could write it down at the end of the show.
We offer more programs for kids, too. These are starting this year. One is called Playmakers, and this is a new program which is intended to introduce theater arts into core curriculum within the elementary school Academic Day. It's a program that's somewhat modeled after other programs around the country, and we hope to get it started in the New Rochelle schools, and then if a pilot program works there, expand it. It's where, very simply, a professional from our company goes into a school and works with a teacher on creating a piece of theater. Works with kids to, in our conception of it, write, direct, produce, build, and perform an original play over the course of maybe 8 or 10 weeks, once or twice a week in the afternoon in one of the schools, for instance, in their 9th period, which is after school, but it's part of their program, their academic calendar, their academic day, rather. We'll come in and work with kids, talk about the theater. What does it mean to be an actor, a director, a writer, a producer? What does it involve to build a set, design lights, build costumes? What does it mean to sell tickets? What is all that about? But what is it, most importantly, what does it mean to work with other people to create something of value? The theater is a built-in school for socialization, for collaborative efforts, and for learning how to sublimate your own ego drives for the good of a bigger cause.
So where do the actors and the behind-the-scenes people of tomorrow come from? Maybe from a program such as yours?
I can't think of a better place for them to come from,
sure. Where do the people for your shows today come from? New York actors?
All over. We are very much trying to develop local professional talent in Westchester.
How do you cast?
We have open auditions once a year. We just had them on August 28th, where we saw 143 individual actors who came in during the course of one 10-hour period and did a 3-minute monologue.
But you're not community theater.
We are not a community theater in the sense of an amateur theater. We are a professional community theater. All good theater should be community theater in the sense that the community supports it. And it serves the community.
I use that almost in a negative sense. Professional actors are very, very important to any production.
Well, there's a whole different quality level that you can expect. Oftentimes, community theater actors will have a day job, and it's very difficult for them to work the 40-hour rehearsal work week that we demand, let alone come to performances in the evening. So oftentimes we will have to go to New York to find performers who are.
But you prefer, if you can, to find local people?
Hey, listen, if you don't have to commute an hour to work or a half hour to work, you only have to drive 10 minutes. Sure. That's better on everybody's head.
You mentioned the passport. You mentioned your subscription. There are a lot of benefits, aren't there, for having that? And,
passport membership. First of all, the ticket price when you buy an individual ticket to Fleetwood Stage Show is only $21. You can't even get into the city for $21, let alone go to the theater.
You can't park for $21.
You can't park for $21. So we offer free parking. We're easy to get to. The $21 ticket becomes reduced when you become a passport member. It's a 25% discount. You get 4 plays for the price of 3. The passport is $63 instead of 4 times 21, which is $84. It's only $63. But this offer is valid until February.
And you also do other things like readings and newsletter.
We have a newsletter that comes out. We do play readings to which we invite the passport members. Passport members are always invited to come to the theater as our guests for whatever special events we're starting. This year we're starting another new program called Theater Lab, which gives an opportunity for those very actors who are local but non-professional, non-equity actors to work with professional directors in a professional setting on one-act plays. This will begin as soon as the administrative end of this can get organized. But we saw a lot of actors at the open call who were non-equity, they would consider themselves professional actors, but they're non-equity. We saw a lot of people that fall into that category who we couldn't cast in this year's plays because you can't cast everybody, but who were very terrific, talented people, and we'll be contacting them to come back in and work on one-act plays, which will be interspersed among our main stage shows as another freebie offered to our passport members. Sometimes they will relate to the main stage. For instance, Tennessee Williams wrote a lot of one-act plays, and while we're doing Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, we could be doing in Theater Lab some of Williams' one-act plays. Stoppard wrote shorter plays. When we're doing the real thing on the main stage, Theater Lab could be doing some one-act plays of his. So there's lots of opportunity for people to come work. We're also introducing, what is it called now? There's so many names, the nomenclature is confusing me. Kids Play. Kids Play is a program that takes place in the theater weekday mornings. I think it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, being led by one of our Theater Lab people, Gail Wilson. whose picture is on this brochure and who was in our production of Taken in Marriage last season. This is for little kids. This is for 2-year-olds through toddlers through pre-K to come in and use theater techniques to help socialize. Their moms or dads stay with them or in the next room, of course, but these kids can come in and make a little play of their own and start learning how to work with other kids and play with other kids using theater techniques.
It gives me a wonderful opportunity to use a line that I conceived the other day, and that is, in that theater for these toddlers, the play was so good that there wasn't a dry seat in the house. What kind of feedback do you get? It must be terrific feedback from, I know I've seen you in the lobby before and after, and I'm not talking about the patronizing compliments, but I'm talking about the real feedback of what people like and don't like. Does that work for you? Is that what makes it all happen?
I find the most interesting feedback to be when people come up and say, I don't like it. And I think that that's a terrific compliment to us as a company and to the audience members themselves when they say, I didn't like this particular play. And we get into a dialogue and we talk about why they didn't like it, or why they did like it, or why they didn't like this play but they liked the performances in it, or why they didn't like this play but they're coming back to the next play anyway because they believe in what the company's doing. The wonderful thing about having a not-for-profit resident company which is doing a whole season of plays is that we won't please everybody all the time, but that doesn't mean you won't come back because you enjoy and you trust us that whatever we do, it will be high quality.
You pleased us so much and you will come back, but we've run out of time.
All right, thanks.
So
Before we go, let me give you a pair of sunglasses. These say Vision, Fleetwood Stage. We give them out to all our Passport members.
I don't know if I can put them on, but I will say thanks for coming. And I'm Norman Liss. The name of the program is The Way to Go. And until next time, enjoy yourself.